Welcome to Breaking Wire. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more updates. Let's break down tariffs. At their core, tariffs are taxes on goods brought into a country. When a toy car from China or wine from France arrives in the US, the importer pays a tariff to the government. This makes imported products more expensive, often to protect domestic businesses by making their goods look cheaper. Tariffs have been used for centuries to manage trade and protect industries. But why make things more expensive for your own people? The main reason: to help domestic companies compete. For example, if US steel is pricier than foreign steel, a tariff can level the playing field. Tariffs are also bargaining chips in international negotiations, raised to pressure, lowered to reward. But there's a big downside: higher prices for everyone. Importers pass the cost to consumers. Retaliation is common. If the US taxes Chinese goods, China might tax American products in return, hurting US exporters. It's a delicate balancing act with real consequences for your wallet. This debate isn't just about economics, it's about power. Who controls trade policy, the president or Congress? That's the core of a new Supreme Court case, with billions of dollars and thousands of businesses at stake. The outcome will affect prices on everyday items and redefine presidential power. It's a high-stakes showdown for the American economy and the presidency. When Donald Trump returned to the White House, he made reshaping trade a top priority. Instead of new laws, he used a 1977 law, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEEPA, meant for national emergencies. Trump declared economic emergencies, citing issues like trade deficits and illegal immigration, and imposed sweeping tariffs. He targeted countries like China, Canada, and Mexico, arguing tariffs would revive US manufacturing and force better trade deals. This was a dramatic expansion of IEEPA's original intent. The administration saw tariffs as both protection and leverage. Critics warned of disrupted supply chains, higher prices, and a possible global trade war. Still, the administration insisted short-term pain would lead to long-term gain. Using an old law for a new kind of economic battle, Trump's move set the stage for a major legal fight. That decision landed in the courtroom. Businesses hit by the tariffs fought back, arguing the president overstepped by using IEEPA to impose broad taxes without Congress. In August 2025, a federal appellate court agreed, ruling Trump's use of IEEPA was an overreach, and that trade policy is Congress's job. The court said emergency powers aren't a blank check for the president to rewrite trade law. They found using emergencies like drug trafficking to justify tariffs stretched the law too far. However, the court didn't strike down the tariffs immediately, fearing economic chaos. Instead, they put their ruling on hold, giving the administration time to appeal to the Supreme Court. The message: presidential power has limits, even in emergencies. The legal fight now moves to the highest court. The stakes: the balance of power between Congress and the president. The Trump administration quickly appealed, arguing tariffs are vital for economic survival and national security. They claim the tariffs brought in $30 billion in August 2025 alone, and overturning them could force the government to refund up to $1 trillion. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent warned this could trigger a fiscal crisis. The administration says the president needs flexibility to act fast in a dangerous world, especially when trade and security are linked. They argue economic dependence on countries like China is a vulnerability. Their legal team insists IEEPA's language covers economic emergencies, pointing to unusual and extraordinary threats. The administration frames the case as a test of presidential authority and national security. They warn that limiting the president's power would weaken the US on the world stage. The Supreme Court must weigh dire economic warnings against the limits of executive power. Billions of dollars and the scope of presidential authority hang in the balance. The Supreme Court's decision will create clear winners and losers. If the tariffs are struck down, importers could get massive refunds, up to $1 trillion, boosting their profits. But consumers won't see direct refunds, and price drops could take a year or more to reach store shelves. If the tariffs are upheld, domestic industries like steel and aluminum win, staying protected from foreign competition. The government keeps collecting billions in tariff revenue, avoiding a fiscal crisis. But importers keep paying, and consumers face continued higher prices. The case highlights a central tension: what helps one part of the economy can hurt another. Billions of dollars and household budgets are at stake. The Supreme Court's ruling will tip the balance. The economic ripple effects will be felt nationwide. The stakes couldn't be higher. The anticipation is palpable as the nation awaits the verdict. News outlets and social media are abuzz with speculation and debate. From small business owners to factory workers, everyone is on edge. Economic analysts are weighing in, and the stock market is reacting in real time. As the decision looms, the Supreme Court remains a beacon of justice and uncertainty. This legal fight has been building for months. In August 2025, a federal appellate court ruled Trump's tariffs unlawful, but delayed the decision to avoid chaos. The administration appealed, and on September 9th, the Supreme Court agreed to hear the case on an expedited schedule. Today, September 19th, is the deadline for the administration's opening brief, laying out their arguments on national security, economic necessity, and presidential authority. This brief sets the tone for the case. Next, oral arguments are set for November 5th, 2025. Lawyers for both sides will present their cases before the justices, who will probe their arguments. Afterward, the court will deliberate. A final decision is expected by June 2026. Until then, businesses, consumers, and the government wait for a ruling that could reshape U.S. economic policy. The timeline is tight, the stakes enormous, the nation is watching. This case is about more than tariffs. It's about the balance of power between the president and Congress. A ruling for the administration would expand presidential authority to use emergency laws for sweeping economic action. A ruling against would reassert Congress's control over trade and taxes, forcing more debate and compromise. Even if the administration loses, they might try other laws for temporary tariffs, but the battlefield would shift. The Supreme Court's decision will impact every American, determining refunds, prices, and the limits of presidential power. It will shape the U.S. economy and government structure for years. The 9 justices face a monumental task. Billions of dollars, the cost of everyday goods, and the future of executive power are at stake. This isn't just a legal drama, it's a turning point for America. The whole country is watching as history unfolds.